Hello and welcome back to the second part of my mod showcase. What is this whole thing about? I am building a mod that greatly enhances stations by giving them special abilities that cannot be achieved by ships. The core idea is to justify the usage of non-home-based stations, which is not given at the moment. STARMADE doesn't really give you a reason to actually use these non-home-based stations because they're just too vulnerable and basically just worse ships. Now, the current state of the mod is that only anchor stations exist. It should be survival proof, but it's not tested, not deeper tested. And more stations to come for with mining and radar stations being the next ones on the list. Now, what is an anchor station? What does it do? Basically, it's a system-wide inhibitor. Keep in mind, a sector is the thing you're in with your ship. It's 16 by 16 kilometers in my case, and the system is multiple sectors. So 100 to 200 kilometers. Now, the anchor station will detect whenever a ship jumps in the system, into the system, or from the system. Basically, all jumps happening in the system, and it will inhibit those jumps and pull the ship to its own location. So it will pull the jumping ship out of hyperspace to its own location. The main idea behind this is that it allows for better area defensive operations. Instead of being able to attack from just anywhere in the system and to attack anything inside the system, you will have to wipe out this anchor station before you can actually go somewhere else. So it creates a choke point which you can defend or attack. It has to be destroyed or disabled before you can freely jump around the system. Now, the anchor station is tied to a couple of conditions to work. For once, the faction that sets up the anchor actually has to own the system. It cannot be a home base, and there's only one anchor allowed per system. Also, the anchor station has to have a working reactor add-on, and this add-on has to be an inhibitor. It doesn't matter what level or what range, but it has to have an inhibitor add-on. You can disable these anchor stations. For once, you can kill the faction module. Once it loses its faction, it also loses its anchor ability. You could revoke the system's ownership. I didn't really look into it how that works, but just know that if you take over the system, all enemy anchors lose their ability. You can overheat it, but what's really important, damaging the reactor or the chamber alone is not enough. It will not lose its anchor ability just because it lost its chamber, because that's a STARMADE limitation at the moment, or it's a STARMADE mechanic that the station will only lose its reactor abilities when it's rebooted. So unless it's not rebooted, it keeps its anchor as well, because the anchor is tied to the inhibitor add-on. The technical structure behind the mod is, in theory, rather simple. Basically, the mod will detect any station being created and or loaded. It will save this station. It will update their stats in a loop, like faction ID and stuff and so on. And it will also determine if the station has the ability to be an anchor station. Then it will set it up as an anchor station and save all these stations to file. It does all this on a 5-second basis. So this is the minimum time to actually have the working anchor station loaded in. And then it will, it has event listeners that detect every jump. It will compare the jump in what system and to what system it's happening, and if there's an anchor station present, it will just abort the jump and teleport it, or queue another jump towards this anchor sector. Right now it has some technical limitations. Like the anchor station has to be loaded in at least once. That means you can't just make a blueprint of an anchor station and set that as NPC usable and create a new universe. So with the idea that pirate stations are automatically anchor stations, that doesn't work. It has to be loaded once for the mod to actually catch the station. If you are faster than 5 seconds in setting up your station and unloading the station, which shouldn't be possible, but it could be possible, the loop might miss it, but that's rather unlikely. It's not multiplayer tested, so I don't really know what's gonna happen there. It's probably gonna break, but well, keep the positivity. At the moment there's only one file for all universes, so if you set up a station in your world 1 game file and you move to another world, you will get conflicts. It doesn't break anything, it will just not work correctly. Yeah. I'm planning on solving the issue with the universe thing. I'm also planning on adding better checks for the actual modules. So you have to have a strong inhibitor instead of just any inhibitor on your station. Also the station is not tied to a reactor size at the moment. That will also change. And I might in the future add the ability to actually upgrade your anchor station, to gain stronger abilities or whatever. I'm gonna put the mod jar in the download section. You will need StarLoader to play the mod, and you can just directly download it, put it in and play it. Just keep in mind it's a very early stage. It should be survival capable, just don't try to play across multiple universes. That's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed. See you around.